Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, over the years, same as most people, I've been a user of the GoPro Action cameras all the way from the Action 4 and upwards. I recently sold my Action 10 and wanted to get a new camera to go along with my 12 here, but the specs on the 13 were just not good enough to actually warrant buying the 13. So I thought I'd try something else out, and same as everybody else, did YouTube searches, did all the comparisons and this and that and everything else, and the Action 5 seemed to be the one to try. So here we go. Now this is not going to be a full spec video. This is just going to be a test of what the camera is going to be like outdoors in comparison, if it's going to be good enough. Now, but we will do a few little bits and pieces, and the main reason I bought this one because over the GoPro is really, I already have the Osmo Action 3, which is a great little bit of kit, and it also comes with this guy, the little mic. Now that connects directly to the camera, and it should give you, we've been told by the YouTube guys there, that it should give you a way better sound compared to what the GoPro will give you. So we'll test that out and see. Obviously you have a little wind muff that goes on there as well. But first things first, let's weigh the comparison between the two, and we'll see if that's how much difference there is, because to be honest here, this little thing feels fairly heavy for what it is. And even though you see on all the YouTube channels everybody keeps telling you that how much smaller it is, it's actually not that much smaller. And when you put the cage on, this little thing, I'll bring that in view there, it actually becomes about the same size, if not bigger. But anyway, look, we'll get to that in a second. Let's weigh them up and see what the differences are. Alright, so get the GoPro on. So that's 153 grams as you'd use it, battery in, and away to go. That's 146, but you have to have this little lad, the magnetic mount. So it's 162. And then if you want a bit of protection on the thing, or you want to use the social media angle, the 16:9 or 9:16, sorry, I'll get that right, you need that bit as well. So that takes it up to 191 grams. So it's actually 40 grams heavier than the GoPro. You might not think that's a huge amount, but when it's on your helmet, you do notice those few little extra grams. So that's something to be aware of. So the first thing I've noticed, which I don't really like, is this little magnetic mount. It's supposed to be a brilliant little bit of kit, and I get the idea, yeah, it's great, you snap it like that, put it in, ooh, and there you have it. But as you notice, look at that, it's not actually clipped in all the way, so you have to give it an old snap to get into place. Now, that could be fairly disastrous when you're heading down the mountain. You think you've got your camera in place, and not to be fully clipped in, a few rocks and shakes and bits and pieces, next thing your camera's on the ground. So that's one thing I'm not really too happy about, to be honest with you. It is quite a tight magnet, I must admit, so you know that it's probably not going to come off, but the fact that you have to snap it into place as it's described as a magnetic mount is not great. Okay, so the next thing I'm not really keen on is the actual buttons. Powering it on, the button feels very vague. You really have to, you don't get that clicky feel, you know, you're not sure if it's on or not, and obviously the noise is going to alert you that it is on, but if you've got gloves on, that could be, especially cold fingers, it's not going to feel great. It's hard to locate, I think. It's a bit weird. But then again, that could be just because I'm used to the GoPro, so, and it's something I could get used to fairly quickly. But yeah, it just doesn't feel great.
Photo.
And you do have to give it a good old push, if I'm being honest here.
Photo. Video.
So that's gripe number 2. Now, one other thing I'm not really sure about is when you put the magnetic mount on, when you've got the cage on, again, you have to fill it into place, is when you want to release it, not that you're going to have to a lot, but when you want to release it, if you've got gloves on, it's very difficult to get your fingers in there to actually, you have to, can't see that very well, you have to squeeze the side to get it off. So if you've got cold fingers again and you have gloves on, it could be a bit of a pain. And one thing about the magnetic mount is as well, it'll only go on one direction. So if you try and put it on the wrong way around, it's like the polarities of the magnets, they don't go together, so you can, if you see what I mean. So it has to be the right way around. God, I hate that clip. One thing that is impressive though is the power up menu. As soon as you press the button, it's on. I mean, that's fairly quick compared to the GoPro. I say I'm not going to go through comparisons and stuff like that, but it is fairly quick. And I do like the menu. It's very easy to navigate around, and the clicks are loud, but it makes it feel like you've actually made an adjustment. Sometimes on the GoPro, you scroll across and you go to move across the screen, and then you've hit some other setting and you've gone, what the heck? But yeah, this is fairly, it's fairly robust, if that makes sense. I know it's a touch screen, but it feels, because of the click, the audible click actually makes you feel like you've made the change. Another strong point of this camera is battery life. It's supposed to have a really, really good battery life. Now, of course, I've only got the one battery, so we'll see how long that actually does last when we take it out on the trails. But one thing I can say is when I plug the USB-C cable in to charge it up, it charged up very quickly. I was very impressed with that. So yeah, that's a good positive. Now, one other thing worth mentioning is with the magnetic mount, you can see it actually sticks down quite a lot lower than the standard GoPro mount there. So depending where you position the camera, it's going to either stand up taller on the top of the helmet or stick down further on the chin mount or chest mount. So something else just to be aware of. I know a lot of this all sounds a bit negative, and I shouldn't really be complaining, but and you could probably turn around and say, well, you should have bought another GoPro, and maybe I should have done. But look, we'll see how the video footage comes out. I mean, if it's better, and like we all know it's supposed to be better in low light, real world tests will show. But I just thought I'd point out some of the stuff that some of these YouTube videos and these guys who were talking about the Action 5 Pro and stuff, which most of them have all been given the camera to give a review on, don't tell you. They don't tell you how tricky this can be to undo. They don't tell you about all the weight differences and stuff like this. They just tell you how good this thing in low light is, blah yada 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 yada. So look, a few points there to take on board. So I think best thing we can do now is get out on the trail and let's just see how good this thing is. Okay, so these are the first settings we tried. So we're using 4K in 30 frames a second, white balance of 5500K, exposure set to auto, color normal 10-bit, bitrate set to high, tone to neutral, image adjust to default, stabilization scenario set to sport, stabilization set on rock steady, mic stereo, and the wind reduction set to standard. In the paused video here, everything looks pretty good. Good colors, good sharpness. Let's roll it forward and see what happens. Good test for the mic. Jeez, beat the shite out of you. Oh my God, alive. Oh, that's nasty. First thing to note here is the stabilization. It's really good. I know it's a very bright scenario and the GoPro will do a good job as well, but yeah, this is a really, really rough track and it's fairly impressive. The wind reduction isn't great on this, but then again, it's only set on standard, so there is a higher level. But one thing that you do notice is even when the wind is howling through the mic, you can still hear your voice very, very well. That's something you don't get on the GoPro. When it's windy with the GoPro and you get a lot of wind noise, your voice is very, very distorted and muffled. How about the low light? Well, take a look at this. This section of forest is extremely dark when you come out of this bright. It is really dark, and then this camera makes it look like it's daylight inside. Stabilization isn't fantastic, it's a little bit jittery, but it's so much better than the GoPro. Alright, so we're back up the mountain. We've changed a few settings on the camera and we've got the actual microphone on this time with a wind muff, so sound should be a lot better. We'll do a couple of runs, we'll come back up again, we'll change a few more settings and see which is going to be the better picture. So I'm sure we can get a better result than we did the first one. Even though it was fairly good, I think we could fine tweak it. So let's see. I'll put the settings up on the screen for each run, so we know which one's which, and we can decide. Then you can let me know. You can let me know in the comments below which one you think is the best. All right, here we go. So this is first one down, and this is the setting with D-Log M. See what the color profile looks like on this. Fairly dappled light, so it'll be into light and dark. So we'll see how the camera handles it. Should be fine, I should think. Let's give it a go. Oh Jesus, it's fairly slippy. Okay, settings number 2. See how these ones look. Same track. Oh God, if I get going. Oh, Jesus. There's no grip in this today. Holy moly, I've got. Woo. Super dry. Alright, so we're back onto the original settings. Brakes acting up a little bit there. And see how this one looks. So these are the settings I had the other day. See how this one goes. Alright, so this will be a run with everything in auto. We're still 4K 30 with rock steady, but all the pro settings are all in auto. Let's see how this one looks. Slightly different track this time. So what do I think? It's a tough one to call, really. I really do like the low light capabilities. I think they are way better than the GoPro, although some of the images can be a little bit, I don't know, it brightens up the image very well, but it's still a little shaky. So is the footage really usable? It's tough to call. But I do like also the audio. I think the audio is way better than the GoPro. Even without the mic, it's way better. Stabilization is fantastic, and I actually got a hang of the clip as well. It's the magnetic clip, so I take that one back. I'm really not convinced with the colors though. I think they're a little bit too oversaturated. I just want to use the camera and the footage and go. I don't want to have to mess around color grading. So look, I'm sure I'll find a lot which will work and speed up the process, but that's just a bit of a downside for me. I think the slow-mo is pretty good. You've got 120 frames a second in 4K, and you've got 240 frames a second in 1080. The 1080 looks a little bit grainy in lower light, but in the 4K 120, it's pretty damn sharp. As you can see here, Bob trying to take my fingers off. Question is, would I recommend it? If it's your first camera, then definitely yes. It's a great camera. The low light capability, the extra life of the battery, the audio, and the ease of the menu. The menu is so easy to navigate. Then yeah, I definitely would recommend it. Would I replace my Hero 12 or 13 with this camera? Probably not. I'd probably wait for the Action 6 or 6 Pro to come out. I think a few tweaks to this camera and it would actually be fantastic. But then again, who knows what the Hero 14 is going to bring to the party. Let me know in the comments below what you would do. Would you change for your 13? Well, I hope this video helped in some way and give you a bit of food for thought if you're considering buying the Action Pro 5. Thanks for watching, and it'd be great if you could like and subscribe. It really does help the channel to grow, and I really would appreciate it. Okay, thanks. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.